Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. I am back, and I'm going to be continuing on with our reading for Carl Rogers on Becoming a Person. And today, what we are going to be covering is the difficulties and excitement of the search and a basic condition. And then we'll also do the final part of that is the emerging continuum, and then stop there before the 7 stages of process. So we're going to be covering pages 129 to 131, again, in Carl Rogers on Becoming a Person. And this is a process conception of psychotherapy. So here we go. The difficulties and excitement of the search. It may seem strange to you that I tell you so much of the personal process I went through in seeking for some simple and, I am sure, inadequate formulations. It is because I feel that 9/10 of research is always submerged, and that only the iciest portion is ever seen, and a very misleading segment. Only occasionally does someone like Mooney describe the whole of the research method as it exists in the individual. I too should like to reveal something of the whole of this study as it went on in me, not simply the impersonal portion. Indeed, I wish I might share with you Indeed, I wish I might share with you much more fully some of the excitement and discouragement of this effort to understand process. I would like to tell you of my fresh discovery of the way feelings hit clients, a word they frequently use. The client is talking about something of importance when, wham, he is hit by a feeling, not something named or labeled, but an experiencing of an unknown something, which has to be cautiously explored before it can be named at all. As one client says, it's a feeling that I'm caught with. I can't even know what it connects with. The frequency of this event was striking to me. Another matter of interest was the variety of ways in which clients do come closer to their feelings. Feelings bubble up through and seep through. The client who lets himself down into his feelings, often with caution and fear. I want to get down into this feeling. You can kind of see how hard it is to get really close to it. End of quote. Still another of these naturalistic observations has to do with the importance which the client comes to attach to exactness of the symbolization. He wants just the precise word which for him describes the feeling he has experienced. An approximation will not do. And this is certainly for clearer communication within himself, since any one of several words would convey the meaning equally well to another. I came also to appreciate what I think of as moments of movement, moments when it appears that change actually occurs. These moments, with their rather obvious psychological concomitants, I will try to describe later. I would also like to mention the profound sense of despair I sometimes felt, wandering naively in the incredible complexity of the therapeutic relationship. Small wonder that we prefer to approach therapy with many rigid preconceptions. We feel we must bring order to it. We can scarcely dare to hope that we can discover order in it. These are a few of the personal discoveries, puzzlements, and discouragements which I encountered in working on this problem. Out of these came the more formal ideas which I would now like to present. A basic condition. If we were studying the process of growth in plants, we would assume certain constant conditions of temperature, moisture, sunlight, informing our conceptualization of the process. Likewise, in conceptualizing the process of personality change in psychotherapy, I shall assume a constant and optimal set of conditions for facilitating this change. I have recently tried to spell out these conditions in some detail. For our present purpose, I believe I can state this assumed condition in one word. Throughout the discussion which follows, I shall assume that the client experiences himself as being fully received. By this, I mean that whatever his feelings, fear, despair, insecurity, anger, whatever his mode of expression, silence, gestures, tears, or words, whatever he finds himself being in this moment, he senses that he is psychologically received, just as he is by the therapist. There is implied in this term the concept of being understood empathically and the concept of acceptance. It is also well to point out that it is the client's experience of this condition which makes it optimal, not merely the fact of its existence in the therapist. In all that I shall say, then, about the process of change, I shall assume as a constant and optimal and maximum condition of being received. The emerging continuum. In trying to grasp and conceptualize the process of change, I was initially looking for elements which would mark or characterize change itself. I was thinking of change as an entity and searching for its specific attributes. What gradually emerged in my understanding as I exposed myself to the raw material of change was a continuum of a different sort that I had conceptualized before. Individuals move, I began to see, not from a fixity or a homeostasis through change into a new fixity, such a process is indeed possible, but much the more significant continuing is from fixity to changingness, from rigid structure to flow, from stasis to process. I formed the tentative hypothesis that perhaps the qualities of the client's expression at any one point might indicate his position on this continuum, might indicate where he stood in the process of change. I gradually developed this concept of a process discriminating 7 changes in it, though I would like to stress that it is a continuum and that whether one discriminated 3 stages or 50, there would still be all the intermediate points. I came to feel that a given client taken as a whole usually exhibits behaviors which cluster about a relatively narrow range on this continuum. That is, it is unlikely that in one area of his life, the client would exhibit complete fixity, and in another area, complete changingness. He would tend as a whole to be at some stage in the process. However, the process I wish to describe applies more exactly, I believe, to given areas of personal meaning, where I hypothesize that the client would, in such an area, be quite differently at one stage and would not exhibit characteristics of various stages. And so when we resume, we are going to start with the stages. And so that begins on page 132 with the 7 stages of process. So thank you all so much. And I look forward to reading for you again, and have a wonderful day.